Good morning, November 9th, 2022. I think it's a Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday, 9:01 a.m. Good morning, everybody's. Audio confirmation. Good morning, everybody's. There it is. Let's see, Rick Lake says after Doug's video and Ken thought he will do a premiere today. I don't see anything scheduled for Ken. And I know he's having some internet troubles. So let's go take a look. Let's take a look and see if Ken's got anything. Today's kind of a hodgepodge of topics that none of which would take very much time. Here's a Ken Stout Live in the bottom left. Click on his live tab, see if he's got anything scheduled. Nada. How about videos tab? Nothing scheduled. So I'm not seeing anything there. Currently, I do have a redirect configured such that after my stream ends, you'll be redirected to my Fortnite game tomorrow morning. Some of you are gonna groan about that. Today's title: Windows Daily 92, Fake Invoice, DNS, and Fake Infection. Because none of those topics are really going to take up a whole session. Let's start with the fake invoice. Before starting the live stream, I came back to my desk, figuring that I needed to prepare this to blur out my client's information on this. He received a fake invoice. He sent a text to me, I think it was, asking if this was something that I had purchased on his behalf. And it was indicating the charge had already been made to his account. I was kind of surprised that he'd even asked me that, because it didn't seem likely that that's something I would buy on his behalf without him knowing on his credit card. This client I'm very regular with. I don't charge anything on his card unless he has specifically approved it. So I'm going to bring that up on screen. We're going to take a look at this invoice. So a little bit of a QFA, quiz for all, as I'm showing you this invoice. Tell me in chat what you think is missing and maybe what points that you think the scammers just really got wrong here. But this one point, I didn't even realize it until this morning. So let's go bring this up on the screen. Here's this invoice. It was an attachment to an email. And yeah, my client did forward the email to me. That's right. It was another client that did a text message of something that would have been easier if they sent me by email. So anyway, up in the upper right, invoice, and then Defender Security United States. Over here on the left, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Now, when my clients get these, they don't normally look over them with as a fine-tooth comb as I'm doing here. Microsoft Windows Defender, and that's got an address in Richmond, Minnesota. Somehow that address looks like it's probably valid for Microsoft, but I don't know that. Toll-free helpline, it ends with 1597. I'm going to pay attention to that number ending with 1597. That's for their helpline. Invoice number, that's kind of a weird looking invoice number. PL 5545/5454/8461. Yeah, just weird invoice number. Never seen that kind of scheme before. Invoice date, September 8th. And my client just received this a couple days ago. I didn't even realize how old that date was. Oh, you know what? Something else. He told me he found this invoice in his junk folder. So I'm just turning over to another screen here to see if I can let you know what the date was for the email that he forwarded. Did the scam vendor actually wait that long before sending it? Begin forwarding. Yeah, it was November 8th. The email was sent to him November 8th with an invoice attached dated September 8th. 2 months late sending that invoice. Defender security, 3 years, 5 devices. So paying for 5 devices for 3 years. In that event, I think $600 is probably a believable number. Amount due, $599. Notes and terms and condition. Okay, 2 plurals and 1 singular. The word "and" spelled out, and then an ampersand. All right. These cameras are got to get better. I'm sure they're going to learn better tradecraft. And so these types of fake invoices are going to be harder for them to get past us or past our clients. Your payment for Windows Defensor, right? Defensor, is that what they call it up here? Defender. Okay, here. Your payment for Windows Defensor security services has been purchased. The charge of purchase will appear in your account in next 24 to 48 hours. 24 to 48 hours from that September date. To stop or unsubscribe, call now to Windows Defender here, not Defensor, Windows Defender Security Support at, and here's that same 1597 number in red. So this is the number to call if you want to stop or unsubscribe. Happens to be the same number as the help desk. If you did not authorize this charge, authorize with a capital A, or would like to cancel the subscription, call now. And here's the same phone number, 1597. Now down here, when I first tried to read this sentence, I tried to read it as subtitles of your recent invoice, but no, it's subtleties of your recent invoice. Who talks like that? Item, Windows Defender Security, receipt ID. Now this receipt ID is totally different number, totally different than this up here. Installment made by online, method of shipment, not updated yet. Kindly call us for more info on, and again, 1597. Your request has been processed now, and the amount has been charged. A capital A on the word "and," a lowercase "the," has been charged. That's craziness. Administrations has been upgraded. Oh, really? Your request has been processed now, and the amount has been charged. Administrations has been upgraded now. Yo, I need some Excedrin. Any issues with the order, please reach out to us now. And guess what? 1597. What are you guys saying about this? Let's go pop open chat. See what you think about this. If anything, or are you just chit-chatting with each other? Looks like I'm first. Hello, Rick and Tony, Ran. All evening, dark but clear. Selden, hello. And how did you know the name of my router? Daily Da Vinci will be later this afternoon, Ken says. All right. Is it scheduled yet? I don't see it scheduled anywhere. Yeah, this is all chit-chat. Has anybody got a comment about this? I thought most invoices have a due date. Well, that's in the future. This invoice is 2 months past due, and it actually says the charge has already been made. The charge has already been made to the account. There you go. Not Best Buy. Windows Defender has its own mailing address? Question mark. And Gary picked up on Defensor. Okay, so far nobody has picked up on the thing that I really think that they were bonehead obvious with missing. Obsolete form of Defender, non-English speaker. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. They state that the charges have already been made. Ken says the fix is in, so we'll go do a redirect to his show. How did they do that unless they have your credit card number, which is scary? Yeah, well, no, that's absolutely not the case. The thing that's missing that you guys didn't pick up on. What's missing from here? Who is this invoice addressed to? Have you ever seen an invoice that doesn't have the name of the chargee, of who is being billed? Does PG&E send you an invoice without having your name and address on it? I thought I needed to come in here and blur my client's identification information out. As far as I can tell, they're charging this to Microsoft Windows Defender. That's who's getting billed for this, because that's kind of a common location on an invoice where you would indicate who you're charging this to, right? At the same area, up in the same header area where you got the invoice number and the date and such. There is no mention of my client anywhere in here. Not an email address, not a name, not a business name, nothing. Really? Does this work? Yes, it works, because my client sent this to me asking for confirmation. Doug, did you buy this on my credit card? And he didn't sound upset. I mean, it sounded like, you know, I could reply yes, and he was going to be fine with it. any responses to that? Yeah, that's a good point. But don't worry, once you call that number, they'll fill in the information. You bet they will. You said you did not have to hide it. Duh. Yeah, at the beginning of the show, right? I said I went to go blur it out. I didn't have to. You guys didn't pick up on that. All right, come on now. Yeah, just totally bogus. Now, and then also, my client found this in his spam folder. And he's not suspecting it yet? Really? Let's see, I'm looking back. Oh, well, I'm going to read to you exactly what he said, because I've got the email pulled up over here. It says, Doug, I don't recall purchasing this. It came into my junk file. Did you? Question mark, meaning did you purchase it? He didn't even speculate that it was a scam. All right, people, be on your toes. Talk to the people that you know, your friends, your relatives, your coworkers. Be sure people know about all this scam stuff that goes out to people. Now, my client has a published email address. He's an attorney. So certainly that's probably how the criminals sent such an invoice as this to him, thinking that he probably is a small law firm, which that's what he is. So 5 devices, that seems to make a lot of sense. All right, so I'm about to move on to the next topic in the title. And by the way, the thumbnail is a little bit misleading because this isn't all whatever that thumbnail implied. Gary's got phishing alerts from an education address here. Let's go see what he's telling us about there. Phishing alerts, recipient's first and last name, order ID. Thanks for purchasing Defender Security Services. $599. Same thing. The order ID number is a little different format. The charges will appear in your account next 12 years. Kindly download invoice for records. Now, a lot of these types of scams are available for the criminals to purchase on the dark web, and then they just collect email addresses to send them out to. And so whoever sent this email probably did not design the invoice themselves, because there's a whole marketplace of how these folks interact with each other. I thought everyone knew Defender is free. I'm going to remember this tip. That's awesome. To be diligent in scrutinizing such a bill. It's possible an account might pick up on that, but there are also speed readers that might miss the detail. Yeah, a lot of times I think business people would see an invoice and just go right to the bottom line and figure out what they need to do with it. URL above, someone up of, let's see, URL above, someone looking up the phone. Oh, Gary perhaps actually did a Google search for the phone number and came up with that, because it is the same phone number. I don't think I mentioned that, did I? Yeah, the 1597. And that is a technique that I'll use, is I'll search the content in a phony invoice, or what I suspect is phony, to see if that is the case. Robert's buffering. Is anybody else buffering? I'm looking over here at my, let's see, if I go, I got to go over here anyway to the live stream and see my stream quality. Stream health over here says stream is healthy. The reason we're coming over here is because we're gonna go set a redirect to Ken's show. Come down here to redirect, search videos from other channels. I see a bunch of stuff for Josh. I went over to Josh's channel and I did not actually see anything scheduled. Kind of weird. I don't see Ken's stream in here. Whatever he's got scheduled, it's not showing up. Maybe I need to refresh this web page. Let me do that. I'll refresh right up here. I hope that's not going to crash the stream. No, it won't. Oh, by the way, I see this in stream button up here. Some people noticed that the redirect didn't take people to Ken's stream yesterday. It actually did. You just had to wait longer. And what I've discovered is when I end the stream on XSplit, it's supposed to end the stream with YouTube, but it's not doing that. So after I end in XSplit, I need to come up here and click this end stream, and you should get a quick redirect to Ken's show. Did Ken say anything else here about, I thought he said the fix is in. Not sure about His Highness. I am barely here. I am going to have to invoice Doug for this. If I am buffering, I would never know. I thought Ken said he had his fix in. The fix is in, he says. That should mean that has scheduled his stream. He says it is scheduled. So I have refreshed. Let's go back and see if it shows up now. Customization, scroll down, click on the pencil, click on search videos from other channels. There it is. Okay, and then save that. So after I end today's stream from XSplit, I'll click this in stream button and it should send you off to his stream quicker than it did yesterday. Scheduled, I have the same issue with OBS, Ken says. Yeah, when he's trying to redirect to somebody else, I suppose. Okay, so let's get on to the next topic. What was it? DNS. Oh, that's very, very quick. I think it was Zavi Manor yesterday in chat. I didn't notice, oh, he is here. Great. I didn't notice it until I went back afterwards, reading through the chat closer, that he pointed out that there was a faster DNS than what I was selecting. I set up my DNS for Comcast primary address and Google's primary address, and I think it was Cloudflare that was had a better result. So I just want to say, I'm just saying, there is no reason for selecting Google over Cloudflare. Cloudflare is fine. I think it was 1.1.1.1. So he was absolutely right. If I had noticed it, I would have gone ahead and chosen that. But at those levels, the difference between those looks so small, I doubt that it would make much difference. You'd have to measure it probably. Gary's at work and no buffering. Clumsy fingers on my phone. Same issue, scheduled except for my 3 p.m. I was hoping Greg would see Ken's stream today. When I open fresh YouTube page, I see Ken's posting, but the time is 12 o'clock. That is what you meant by this afternoon. Yeah, right. 12 o'clock for Lawn Dog's time, I guess. Spectrum guy did the DNS. Spectrum, okay, I'm not sure what that is. That might have been responding to somebody else. Gary, I did the whole DNS from Steve, and it was 1.1.1. Was first, and then 8.8. So that's Cloudflare 1.1 and Google 8.8. So Gary, great, you did that. 12:21 in Michigan. Then my next topic. So that was fake invoice, that was DNS, then fake infection. This is basically a reminiscent of Tech Tales, because this is just a story. I don't have any video or any photos of this. And this was a client who called me. She's the assistant to a, let's see, he's a CPA. And his computer was giving one of those fake infection alerts where they have an audible message, have these scary messages on screen wanting you to call a phone number. I think probably maybe she had his speaker volume turned down. He was connected remotely to his office computer from somewhere else and triggered this virus incident, or fake virus incident. He called his assistant, told her about the situation. I think she told me that she already knew about it. Maybe she was hearing it. And he told her that he was trying to shut it down. He clicked the cancel button, and she told him, they've been through this before. She told him, no, don't click anything inside that area. Well, he did. He didn't call the phone number they were telling him to call, but he did click something in there. She was calling me because she was not able to do the procedures that I have taught her to do. Yeah, I've taught it to him too, but he doesn't remember that. I've told him don't click anything inside. She's told him that before, and he still clicked some button inside that message area to cancel or close or whatever it was. And she was calling me because the methods that I had told her of bringing up Task Manager and ending task on the browser wouldn't work because she couldn't bring up Task Manager. So I connected remote to the computer, saw the messages on screen, and I also was unable to bring up Task Manager. I tried right-clicking on the Start button. I tried Control-Shift-Escape. I tried sending a Control-Alt-Delete command. Actually, I'm not sure that I sent that one. I'm not sure that I tried that one. And whatever else, or whatever other tricks are up my sleeve. Then she told me that she already had tried powering off the computer. She pressed the power button. She told me it shut down. And then she turned it back on, and she says all the messages were still there. The browser window was still open. So I'm not totally convinced that she did press the power button on the computer. Maybe did she press the power button on the monitor? I was suspecting that maybe a press and release, maybe the power button had been configured to do a standby mode. So that's what I was assuming at the time that she told me she pressed the power button. I asked her, did you press and release or did you hold the power button down? She said she did a press and release. So I'm figuring it went into standby mode. So at this point, I can't go check to see how the power button is configured because we've got the fake virus messages. So we just got to deal with it. So what I did is in my remote connection software, LogMe and Rescue, on the technicians panel, I've got a method that I can click to send a reboot command through LogMeIn. So I'm not using any keyboard operations or mouse actions from the remote connection to the keyboard. I'm clicking on a button that sends a restart command. That worked. That rebooted the computer. When it came back up, nothing was open and we were fine. So then I said, let me go check on that power button so we know what to do with that. So I went into, I'm going to show how to do this for those who don't know. Let's see, how do I want to do that? Let's come over here so I'm not giving you that picture-in-picture effect. So we'll bring up monitor number 1, and I click on the start button and then type power space ampersand to get to power and sleep settings. And then on the right hand side, click on additional power settings. Now, depending upon the size of your window, additional power settings, you might have to scroll down here to see it. If the window's wide enough, then you'll see it over here on Windows 10. Windows 11, a little different. I don't know from memory how to do it. Then you come up here to choose what the power buttons do. And I have, when I press the power button, do shutdown. When I press the sleep button, sleep. I don't even know if my keyboard has a sleep button. I don't care about that at all. Anyway, on my client's computer, this was set for shutdown. So a press and release of the power button should have done a shutdown. But it seems like it didn't. It seems like what it did was a sleep. So that's where you go to check on that. So what I told her that she could do next time in a similar situation is hold the power button down for like count to 10, but keep holding the power button until the computer actually shuts off. Now I could demonstrate that right now on Big Beast Build, but that would probably interfere with the stream. Not sure on that. That's a Doug. Of course, it would interfere with the stream. And I wouldn't be able to end the stream properly in YouTube, so you wouldn't get properly advanced to Ken's stream, which isn't starting for a while anyway. Oh, wait a minute. Did you say 12:30? I don't know what time Ken's stream is starting. When is it starting? Ken Stout Live over here. I didn't pay attention to that. Is it a live stream? There it is. 12. So it's 12 p.m. my time. So that's like a ways away. 2.5 hours? 3.5 hours? 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours away. So you will probably be sent to his stream, his waiting screen pretty quickly. Now let's go see where's chat room. Here's chat room. Oh, DNS at home is what he changed. Yeah, at office he probably can't change his DNS for his own computer. Spectrum is the cable guy. The guy came out yesterday and switched out my router. Yeah, Bobby was telling us about his. Oh, Bobby, there you are in blue. I remember that. I made you a moderator. The cable guy came out and switched out his router, and I had some conversation back and forth in comments on the video. So he says the guy did charge him $40. I'll tell you what, out here when I call an internet service provider, if they wind up having to replace their modem/router, they don't charge us for that. That seems kind of chintzy that they charge you for that, Bobby. 11:21 in Minnesota. Results vary according to location. The band correct. Warren, you're on Spectrum. LOL. Shut off the. Let's see. She shut off the monitor. I guess I'm not gonna. Am I gonna? I'm trying to see if anyone's commenting on this stuff that I'm talking about. Oh, Bobby's saying the guy, his name was Anthony, was so nice. Spent a lot of time at my house yesterday. I missed Doug's live stream. I have seen technicians from ISPs being really nice people. Sometimes not knowledgeable about networks, but that's okay because I'm there. Well, Doug, sometimes they will put a script in the startup routine. Also, it could be wrapped in the Windows scheduler. I have never seen, and I have never seen an instance where when these pop-up messages come within a browser, without the client having clicked on anything, that it actually does any configurations to your computer. Now, remember, this client did click on something within that window. Did that cause something more persistent? Well, I didn't do any extra scanning of that computer, so if it did, I should be getting another callback from them. Power button can be set to sleep rather than shut down. Yes, just a couple ideas. Searched, and I think you're right on, Lawn Dog, that since he did click on something, did that make something more persistent? I don't know. I didn't see evidence of it. Search taskbar icon changed Windows 11, just notice. Okay, so Windows 11, the search icon in the taskbar changed. 3 p.m. I guess for Ken's show. There's a potential spam phone call coming in. Nope, don't have time for you. Kind of steer away from powering down that way with Windows running because I'm kind of old school. Yeah, it is old school. Windows 10 does really good with holding the power button down. It may take longer to start up. Allow whatever time that it takes to start up. Windows 10 11 do a fantastic job of repairing themselves after those kind of shutdowns. Absolutely. Ken's laughing at something there. I'm way too far behind to know what it was. But again, you have to know my history, especially with Windows XP 3.1, Windows 7. That's not hard for us to understand. There's lots of us around here right in the same boat with you, Lawn Dog. Windows 10 11 do a fantastic job after power shutdown like that or power failure, all those open files that it fixes are great. Now, one other caveat though about that. If you have a situation where you do that, hold the power button or the system crashes for whatever reason, turn it back on. It does a really good job of coming back up, but do another restart. I want a normal restart before you rely on the computer. I have had many times where after a computer recovers from forced restart like that, forced power off or power outage, turn the computer back up and something's not right. Do another restart so that you get a normal restart before you rely on the computer. Now that just reminded me, I had another story to tell that I was intending to have included today. I had a client yesterday. Since Ken's not starting at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to go a little bit over time here. Client contacted me yesterday saying that all of their QuickBooks company files except for one was failing to open, and there's an error message indicating that the company file is damaged. They had like 7 or 8 company files that they use in this law firm. There's a company file for keeping the accounting records for the entire company as a whole, and then several of the partner attorneys have their own law corporation that has a separate accounting file. And then there's also accounting files for their trust accounts. There's a family trust account, and then there's accident injury trust account. I think there was a third one. So I'm not sure what the total number of, but they have quite a few. So I had offered to her that I could do it now when she called me late morning yesterday, or I could do it after hours. She decided for me to do it after hours. She asked me, is it going to take a long time? I said, yeah, with that many files, it could take a while, depending upon what process I have to use. Then later in the day, she said she also needed to adjust the time on their IP phone system. Their IP phone system fails to automatically adjust for daylight savings time. It's supposed to, appears to be designed to, but that never doesn't work. So I have to manually fix that every time. So I connected to her computer last evening, adjusted the time for the phone system. Well, that's the last thing I did. I went into the accounting files, and in my Microsoft OneNote, I put in a description of the problem, description of the error message. There was actually a QuickBooks error code. But remember, yesterday morning I pointed out that it's Windows Update. Update Tuesday was yesterday. And remember, I found that the Windows Cumulative Update was not yet available for my computer. And remember, I reset my device over here. I won't say her name so I don't trigger someone else's device. My Alexa smart speaker, I'll say. And I moved that timer forward by a few hours because I wanted to be reminded to check for Windows updates. When that went off a few hours later, I found the update was available, but my computer had not downloaded it yet. So I went ahead and clicked to download it, and it eventually prompted that I needed to restart the computer. Remember yesterday I said any odd symptoms, any computer that's having odd symptoms, look down in the bottom right corner to see if in these icons down here in the notification area, do you have a one of those yellow or red dots down here indicating the computer needs to be restarted to install updates. And sure enough, when I connected to her computer, there was a red or yellow dot down there. I don't remember which color it was. So before trying to open any of those QuickBooks files, I restarted her computer. It took nearly an hour before I could successfully reconnect to her computer. I don't think the updates took quite that long. I think the reason why it took so long is that I was expecting and it was even offering me the remote connect button, meaning I could connect to it, but I would click on that and it would try to connect and it would fail. Did that several times. So then I realized, okay, I'm going to totally disconnect from her computer so I don't have a background connection and then do a fresh connect, because after the Windows update, sometimes that's needed. So I was able to connect. But it turned out to be an hour after I started this whole thing. Then I tried opening every one of those company files in QuickBooks. Every one of them opened perfectly. No problems, no errors. So there is a testament to restarting the computer when your computer indicates there's updates that need to be installed. Now, something about this that is a little annoying to me, that I've only really kind of put this together by virtue of this experience. And let me point that out. I'm going to click here on the Windows button, go Update Space Settings. And it bothers me that a computer will download the updates and do partial install apparently. And let's see where I want to get here. Advanced options, isn't it? It sits there waiting for a restart time. Now we can configure the restart time, change active hours. We can change the hours for it to restart. But if it's already downloaded the update and partially installed it, there's the potential that it has an adverse impact on the computer and is causing a problem. Now, I need to go back and connect to her computer and see if this is configured at all. See, mine is turned off. Automatically adjust active hours for this device based on activity. Current active hours is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's already set. Based on your daily activity, we recommend using the following active hours, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. It knows that I work beyond those hours, right? But it's not configured. Let's see, automatically adjust active hours based on activity. Oh, I see. I'm misunderstanding this. If I turn this on, then it's automatically going to adjust to the 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. But it should already be able to restart after hours, shouldn't it? Pause updates, advanced. Where is the piece about receive updates for other products, download over metered, restart this device as soon as possible. Windows will display a notice. Yeah, I don't want that configured on any of my clients' computers. But really what I want is I want it to not don't do that partial install of the updates until after hours. When it's doing this during work hours and then it displays that yellow or red dot saying your computer needs to be restarted, that could be causing trouble symptoms. And when my client calls me, I have to tell them to restart their computer. Well, some of these updates take a long time. Some of these computers are slower, older computers. They take a long time to restart with installing updates, and it causes some grief. So I need to look into that issue closer. Can I prevent the updates from downloading until after hours? That's what I'd like to see. All right, what are you guys saying in here? There's my last highlight. 2 videos to get out today. You know what? I'll catch up on these after I finish the stream. I'll read up on everything. Look at the most recent is Lawn Dog with several lines. I'm going to have to read all those together. And maybe that's chit chat between people. It's best to do a fresh restart. Yeah, so nothing jumping out at me there. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. Come over here to display my email address. If you'd like to send an email about a topic that you'd like for me to cover, or if you'd like to set up a live stream where I connect you remote to your computer, you come in on Zoom. We work on some kind of a issue. Or if you want to do that in private rather than a live stream where I can upload the video later, I'd love to get some requests for that kind of stuff. Let's see. Yep, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. So I'm reminding myself, I'm going to click in XSplit to end the stream and go over to YouTube and in the stream there, and it should send you pretty quickly to Ken's waiting window. And I would like for you to type a message in there. Let me know if that worked quickly. I'll go look at that too, so I see what's going on over there. And in order to do that, I'm going to bring that up and get it ready to go. So here we go. And I see Robert over there and Tony over there already. Ending the stream. Oh, by the way, I hope that was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye. 3, 2, 1.